Oh, so we open with melted face Destiny and Gigi shopping for lingerie. Honey, nobody wants to see your bosom. At least I don't. It looked odd. Oh, God, and misshapen MJ is joining them? Oof, the punishment starts early. Destiny started an accessories line? Honey, you're not stylish. You gonna sell some cheap crap from China that you could get on Instagram for $20 less? Okay, heifer. We find out MJ hadn't bumped ugly with her big ugly in 2 weeks. Well, what good is he? Meanwhile, across town, London drops by Rez's. I'm sick of her complimenting everything every 10 seconds. Every other word out of her mouth is a compliment. It seems really insincere. London, you are so messy. I finally met baby Shams. And Rez is just like, oh my God, you met the baby and I haven't met the baby yet. I'm sorry. He's a little bigger than a meatloaf, but they're not able to hold a conversation at that age. That's not baby Shams anymore. That's toddler Shams. Now, Reza, all last season was about how you couldn't meet baby Shams. So, yes, London did know that you hadn't met that baby, or at least had a good idea. If I ran into you, I'd be like, have you met baby Shams yet? Because I know you haven't. But honestly, I wouldn't even be that petty with you. You already ain't got no top lip. I ain't gonna make life harder for you. I can't imagine walking through life a lipless wonder, so I wouldn't even throw that in your face. Your lipless face. Across town, Gay Nima and Sherwin get together. I don't think Mike is losing weight. He just looks like he's got on a waist trainer and is sucking in. He'll always be Fat Mike to me. Nima's got a chance to direct in New York City so he can be bi-coastal. Bi-coastal, that's what you are. Bi-coastal. I'm sure. Mike gonna say, oh, maybe you'll find a woman out there. In the West Village. A woman named Clark. MJ and her big ugly are gonna have a date night. Fast forward. Best fiends. So MJ's big ugly is feeling insecure because he's still got that restraining order and can't really participate in the filming of the show like he used to. So Reza gonna meet with MJ to try to make amends with Tommy so he can see that damn baby. Well, toddler now. That kid gonna be grown by the time you see him. However, now Gigi and Sherman are having a ponderoro. So after they back cool, she says, you know anybody that could give me some dick? He ain't gotta be faithful, but I do need some dick. MJ's mama is a pain in the butt, but the yoga instructor is cute. Gay Nima and Destiny have some rosé at the park, and now they getting back on the good foot. Because last year he called Destiny on her crap with that AliExpress plotline or whoever that guy was. Nima gonna tell Destiny she's the ultimate catch. Maybe as a herpy. This heifer and her fly-by-night businesses and Claire's trinkets, I'm sorry, that ain't nobody's catch. She looks like she's caught a few things, but I wouldn't call her a catch. Nima, you really gonna say, oh, Destiny, if you wanted some of this pain, you could have it. Didn't you already mess things up with Gigi? Acting like you gonna give him a little dick, then you take it right back. Oh my goodness, young Reza was cute. What the hell happened? What happened? Young Reza was cute, and you had a top lip. What happened? That is sad, man. Age is a mother. But he whining and crying to me. I want you to help me with my pamphlet because you were a girl. She an ally, but she's also a two-faced bitch. And don't you ever forget it. And then he gonna get to crying to see her little meatloaf again. Lord, these people beat a dead horse. Since Gigi's a new mama and wants to get the group on the good foot, she said, you know what, we gonna do it my way. We gonna do a nature retreat. And kumbaya till we can get it right. Well, let's see what the Chihuahua face girl has to offer. So Reza tells his hillbilly hoe at the park that he wants to drop the restraining order so he can meet the meatloaf. And the hoe is mad he talked to Maris before he talked to he was married to. I'd be pissed as well. So the hillbilly is upset that Reza moved without telling him, but he's like, look, I want the restraining order, however, I'm not going to be the bad guy. So I suppose we can go on and take it down, since this is so important to you to meet that meatloaf. So that way nobody can blame me. However, let's get to the next episode. So we open with Gigi inviting everybody on this healing trip. MJ asks her husband, anything Reza can do to get y'all on the good foot? And he said, I'm sick of that sissy and his restraining orders. Maybe you shouldn't come to people's houses with bats. So MJ's big ugly ain't just a big ugly. He's a big slow, too. They didn't have any consequences. I had consequences. You were the only one who did something. Everybody else just talked, and talk is cheap. You decided to go to somebody's house with a bat. Things could have gotten out of line and out of hand. All I have is he'll never meet my son. That's the only thing I can do. Wow. That shows how weak, impotent, and pathetic you are. Later that afternoon, Gigi meets up with Fat Mike at a dessert place. They always eating. That's why it's Fat Mike. So Gigi said, you really keeping Paulina separate from the group. And he said, well, y'all are always trying to say something about my relationship, embarrass me in front of her, tell her she shouldn't be dating me, tell her we should break up. So no, I'm not going to bring her around. And I agree. So Gigi's sister gonna drive this big old RV up to the Redwoods. It looks comfortable. Now, Reza, didn't you say you was gonna stop with the jabs? But you just can't help but jabbing at Mike. Oh, I wouldn't say that Gigi's baby looked like yours with your reputation. Oh, well, I've got a girlfriend, but I'm not bringing her around. I wouldn't bring my girlfriend around your no-lip butt either, just because I wouldn't want her to get bitten. You look like you gonna bite somebody. I don't trust you. So Gigi's trying to calm them both down. She's like, look, you're being accusatory and you're being hostile. Well, Reza started it. Child, London will not shut up. But we found that out when she was trying to help Gay Dima on his date. She seems very full of herself. Oh, goodness. So we still in this dang car and Reza says, well, London getting the worst room. As the newbie, you do get the worst room. But London says, I appreciate you stepping off. You're trying to hurt me. Well, welcome to Reza. Have you not been on one of these trips? Did you not see the show? Wait until MJ comes at you. Reza said, we're never going to be cool. It's a wrap. And I kind of think that means, Heifer, you ain't going to be on the show no more. He'll pull an, I won't film with her. So we get to the house and Gigi done already picked out rooms for everybody. Destiny's is cute. It's a lot of taxidermy. They acting like the place haunted. It ain't haunted. Then again, it might be. It's California. They do have ghosts out here. They don't have ghosts on the East Coast, though. It's too expensive and the buildings are too new. Maybe in regular houses, but not in the city. London still can't find her room, but everybody's room seems pretty nice. However, MJ has to tell Reza that her husband ain't moved by the removal of the restraining order. MJ, you don't need to tell at the beginning of this trip. You can wait until after you get back and then say, oh, I talked to him once we got back, and let him deal with it back in the city. Why ruin the trip? Because you're a ruiner. And you've got this love-hate relationship with him where you want to care about him, but you also want to hurt him. You an odd one. I'm glad I don't know you in real life. Now that we're settled in, let's all take a shot of tequila so we can yell at each other some more. I would think y'all would want a soberish weekend, because y'all get drunk and ignorant. Oh, God. Watching Gay Nima begin this flirtate with Destiny. Oh, you are a desperate little something. And you're a bottom. So what are you going to do with her? What are you going to do with... Nothing. That's what you're going to do. The same thing you did with Gigi. Why is MJ sending nude pictures to Gay Nima, Fat Mike, and Cute Sherwin? So Gay Nima tell MJ he told about her tits, and she said, well, let's have a show and tit. Everybody gets to look. I don't want to see him. Bravo, blur that shit. I think Gay Nima is actually right about the sex times. 30 to 40 minutes is about all we can budget. Any more than that, you get sore. Like, ain't nobody got an hour to be doing that bullshit. An hour's per... After a good 35 minutes, we have done all we needed to do. Let me get in the shower, get a snack, get a breath of air. Mike, you're lying like you're lying about those spoof messages. So Sherman finishes making the food. Everybody's enjoying the lamb chops. They look good. And Fat Mike and Gay Nima are still going back and forth over how long you should last in bed. But then Reza gets real aggressive. Gay Nima, if you've got somebody at the table that says they can go for 10 hours, why don't you just ask? I think he meant ask Mike for some dick because we know you've been wanting it. Oh, so Mike tells Nima to sit down and shut the fuck up because Fat Mike slept with Gigi back in Hawaii. Oh, and he slept with the sister. Reza is always beating up on Mike. It makes me think, you know what, maybe he was sending those text messages because I bet you he wants a slice of Mike. But Gigi's like, okay, look, let's bring it on down and go to bed. We got a big day tomorrow. We can have this bullshit at another time. So now Reza's upset that he snapped at London in the car. You see, he always be going off on people and then, oh, I didn't mean that. I'm sorry, you got one good cuss out with me and we finished. And now Gigi have a heart-to-heart with them. She's like, look, we done seen you and MJ go at it and call each other everything but a child of God. So how can I go into this friendship trusting I won't make a boo-boo and then you gonna write me off and throw me away? Am I wasting my time? Is this friendship in vain? Is Jamal coming? Of course not. So he says, I understand your concerns, and I think we're making a genuine friendship. I just want to stay good with you. You say that about everybody, but then you cuss them out. All right, well, let's get to the next one. We catching up before the reunion, part 2. So the next morning, Gay, Nima, Sherman, and Mike talk about how mean Reza was to London, and they were like, she just voiced her opinion. She ain't done nothing. I mean, the heifer won't shut up to save her life, but she didn't deserve all of that. So the group splits up. Some of them go ziplining. Gay, Nima, London, and Reza go to the wine tasting. I think misshapen MJ with them too. Oh no, it's Gigi that's with them, and Nima's had a few drinks, so he thinks he's gonna pretend to be a heterosexual again. Honey, you couldn't get it up the last time. Stop playing it, puss. Nima said, ooh, a few glasses of wine. Gigi looking good, Destiny looking good, Reza looking good. I'm just kidding. No, you ain't. I could see you two bumping teeths, because neither one of you got enough lip to save your life. Actually, maybe that's why y'all can't work. It would just be a chipped tooth relationship. So Reza go on and apologize to London at the beginning of this tasting. I'd accept it, but I'm like, I ain't talking to your ass again. You crazy. Why are you so mad at Mike, Reza? Why? Why do you care what goes on in his relationships? You are just too obsessed. Honey, block Paulina's number and move on. And why do you need Paulina to be around so much? Like, you've just got to be in his life when you want to be in his pussy. That zip lining looks like fun. I'd be nervous, but I'd do it. I just realized I'm in California. I'm not that far from that place. I can totally do it. That'll be a fun afternoon of screaming in the woods. I can just hear me now. So back at the wine tasting, Reza's saying, Paulina's not here because Mike won't let her be here. Paulina came on the phone and said herself that trust was broken and she didn't like the things that people were saying to her. And also, y'all have gotten in her ear. I wouldn't invite her either. Like, I don't understand why you don't get the consequences of your actions. I wouldn't want my girlfriend sitting next to somebody trying to break us up either. Let's not act like Destiny is not actively trying to ruin their relationship. Destiny has said, I don't want her with Mike. Destiny has said, I want her to leave him. Who's going to want their significant other to be around that kind of an influence? And then everything she says, y'all are going to take and blow out of frickin' proportion. But now we got MJ talking with Fat Mike, and she said, yeah, Tommy ain't coming round when it comes to Reza. He ain't gonna be able to meet my meatloaf. Fat Mike says, well, you gotta get in Tommy's ear. Honey, Tommy's ears are deaf when it comes to Reza. He ain't here for it. So we getting ready for our saloon night. Everybody's having fun, but Destiny gets a text message from Paulina. So Paulina says, Mike asked me to stay away from the group. Well, you wanted to break them up. I'd keep her away too. Destiny, you're only hurt because you couldn't get what you wanted. You don't care about that girl. So this heifer is alluding that Mike has cheated yet again. So Paulina apparently found him messaging some hussy on Instagram, and she confronted him about it and said, you know what, I want you out. Well, then why'd you get engaged? When you get with somebody like Mike, just let the man cheat in peace. It's who he is. If you don't like that, then don't date him. You can let him cheat in peace or don't date him. Change is not an option. Destiny's like, why are you telling me this? Why am I in the middle of your relationship? And then Paulina's giving her messages to give to the group? See, I'd have to leave you on account of you putting business in the street. So Destiny finally joined the group and she's like, I ain't gonna say nothing just yet. I don't want to get involved. Keep that same energy. Stay uninvolved. If Paulina wants to say something, let her say it. And honestly, she needs to shut that mouth. Just leave him. Just leave him and call it a day. But Gigi starts off the murder mystery. So everybody has solved the mystery. Gigi's happy she done gotten the group somewhat on the good foot. However, Reza was so drunk he had to go to bed. So now MJ tell Reza, Tommy don't care about the restraining order. He just hate you. And he knows he can dangle my child over your head. Now, MJ, these were rumors that you started. Let's not forget that. And then you couldn't control your Magilla gorilla. Your husband's supposed to respect you too, right? That means not going over to your friend's house with a baseball bat, trash and shit. So Reza says, I'ma just stay hopeful that one day me and Tommy can get it on the good foot and I can meet the meatloaf. Well, that was the shit. I'll see you soon. For sisters with a TAS, 'cause they ain't shit.